Hey everybody, Stacy Savage here once again, aka the Texas Trash Talker, coming at you from the Austin area, and I'm your zero waste expert and recycling nerd of 20 years. And today I wanted to go over a little bit about the kind of top 10 business sustainability tips whenever it comes to waste reduction and increasing your participation whenever it comes to recycling, food rescue, composting, and lots of other ways that you can reduce waste in your business to protect the bottom line. Unfortunately, many companies will how do I say this? They will put their waste line item for the annual budget at the very bottom. But if you think about it, reducing your waste to landfill is probably one of the top ways that you can reduce uh, the money that is being spent in your waste stream. Um, what I mean by that is that you can increase the bottom line, and you can do that by putting your waste issues up at the top, so that the cost savings that you find at the top of your budget with the waste system and optimizing that, you can funnel the cost savings down to other programs. Maybe you can start a recycling program if you haven't already. If you have a recycling program, maybe you can extend that over to including composting for food waste reduction as well. If you think about it, the anytime that you have an adjustment in your service levels for your trash and your recycling and your composting, anytime that you can get these numbers up over here through waste diversion, you're going to have to renegotiate your contract over here for trash and get your dumpster size, your frequency of pickup at a lower level, because you're increasing over here. So a lot of times you can take the money that you save over here and put it toward the new programs that you're rolling out for waste diversion. On top of that, you get to take those green metrics, and you get to roll them into a green storytelling strategy that can help you attract new customers, recruit top tier talent to your business who really align with eco-friendly operations, and they want to boast to their friends and family, hey, I work for a company that is eco-minded, and I really feel good about coming to work every day. You can also use this to position yourself with investors as well. Environmental, the ESG metrics are usually about, in the top 5 to 10 metric areas that investors are now looking at in order to even make your company a consideration for their dollars to go into. So it's really critical that that waste reduction is going to help you go ahead and be able to demonstrate some of that goodwill, some of that eco commitment that your business should be displaying at all. It should be displaying in the first place, especially if you want to be considered a leader in your business. So I am going to go ahead and go into the chat here to see if we've got any questions just yet. So let me go over the top 10. And while I do that, I'm just going to give you some examples of what that may look like and how that might apply to your business or industry. So one of the top 10, I guess we can say number 10, would be to go paperless. And this would be your transition to electronic receipts, invoices, memos. A lot of companies still use a lot of paper products whenever things can be stored in the cloud, of course, and you can send things through email. So I would encourage businesses to start migrating their paper receipts and invoices and memos and such over to digital. And just for ease of your customer as well, it provides a little bit more convenience for tracking that kind of stuff for your company as well as your customer. And also consider setting your printers to default to double-sided printing. A lot of companies will not considered this as, part of one of the really simple things that we can do in order to reduce paper waste, is to go ahead and make sure that you've got the default setting in your printer to double-sided. What are we at? Number 9, I would say, is to practice responsible purchasing. And what that looks like is the Environmental Protection Agency actually has an EPPP guideline or handbook, and that stands for Environmentally Preferable Purchasing Practices. I know it's a mouthful. That's why we call it the EPPP. But this allows you to take a look at the practices that you're already implementing in your business when it comes to purchasing, like office supplies and furniture and TV monitors, and what kind of packaging even that you're using for your own products that you're shipping out to the consumer base, or out to the big box stores maybe, or the small local stores that you sell your products in. So that's one thing to look at, is to practice environmentally preferable purchasing standards so that you can prioritize reusable, recyclable, and eco-friendly office supplies. Maybe you're buying in bulk rather than just buying for individual people who may put in a request, that you're really looking at your purchasing practices as a whole, and that you're purchasing in bulk. And then when you get that bulk purchase in, you distribute it however it needs to go within your business. And that helps you reduce packaging waste as well. So you have the opportunity to prioritize durable and high quality products that will actually last. So number 8 is, I would want to encourage the use of reusable items. So what I mean by that is, cups, mugs, actual silverware, y'all. Washable plates, bowls, and saucers, cloth napkins, not necessarily paper napkins. And those cloth napkins would need to be washed, obviously, but really allowing your workplace, like the little kitchenette areas, or just a little storage area where you can keep reusable utensils for your employees. That way they don't have to, bring in, single-use plastics. That way they don't have to bring in disposable cups and paper napkins. That's something that, and you can put your company logo on all of this stuff, really. And it's a great way to brand for your employees. And also think about, if you are giving kind of welcome gifts to your new employees, this is a great way to have them, understand that you're building a culture of reuse and zero waste in your business, so that they are encouraged to bring back their coffee mug every morning, that they're encouraged to bring back the water bottle that you supplied to them that has your company logo on it. That's something that they can take in and out of the business, and it's not free advertising, but it's word of mouth advertising, basically, because it's your customer going out to their friends and family with your logoed water bottle in their hands. And they are putting your logo out there among their friends and family. And who do you typically trust most in your life is your friends and family, and what they say. So if your employees are saying, yeah, my boss gave me this as a welcome gift, that's something that really shows that your company cares. And I'm going to go real quick to the question area. Let me check over here as well. Yeah, if you've got any questions about zero waste, recycling, composting, how your business can save money using waste reduction, and let's see. And we're really working on protecting the bottom line here for businesses. And a lot of these tips that I'm giving can be used in the home. You can set your own home printer to default front and back, right? A duplex setting. That's pretty simple. There's all kinds of things that you can do as far as what we're talking about here that would normally apply to businesses, but you can use it in your own home as well. All right, so where are we? Number 7, I think. So I would say building on top of that reusable item piece that we just talked about is to completely eliminate single-use plastics within your business. And what I mean by that is food containers, cups, coffee, styrofoam, utensils, packing materials, your paper napkins, as well as anything that plastic bags, anything like that you can use in order to have the convenience of the plastic, but it's only a single use, so it goes straight to landfill, right? Unfortunately, plastics that are just these single use and they've got food, maybe they have food on them, like they're soiled with food. Unfortunately, those can't be recycled. So you should never put, your small little ramekins of sauce into the recycling bin. You should never put your cutlery, your single-use plastic cutlery, into the recycling bin. That is mainly because A, it's got food waste in it, and that's a contaminant. And then B, if it goes to the recycling plant, that usually just falls off of the line. Those products are just too small and they're just too light. They go through these belts and shaker decks and all kinds of different methods of sorting on the line at a recycling plant, that these are just too light and they're just going to shake right off the deck onto the plant floor. So there's really no point in putting them there. And, the recyclers just really don't want them. They're not of good value to them really at all. So it's really important to keep those single-use plastics and especially plastic bags out of your recycling bin, because those aren't recyclable either whenever it comes to your local municipal recycling plant. They don't want them. What that usually does is get into the mechanism of the recycling plant and it mucks everything up. They have to shut down. They got to lower people into the recycling gears, and they have to use a box cutter and cut all these tanglers, what we like to call them, tanglers, out of there so that we can get the plant back up and running. But it usually comes in and makes a mess of everything. So single-use plastics, you don't want to recycle those, as well as your plastic bags, unless your recycling plant specifically says, yep, we can take plastic bags, but you need to call them or check out their website first. And it's different in every city. It's different in every state. So it's important that you check with them first instead of giving them what they would consider contamination, because it's going to muck up their machinery. So let's see here. Just checking the question stream. So if you have any questions, again, around zero waste composting, how to save your business money using green strategies that we're talking about here, and being able to, really protect that bottom line, is the kind of conversation that we're having here. So you can go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and I can answer those directly. Let me check here on this other platform as well to see if there's any questions that have come about. So let's see, moving on. And number 6, I would really encourage people to, or businesses to start a recycling program or workplace recycling program, if you don't already have one, of course. This would be probably, it's something that most people understand, that these types of materials like rigid plastics, glass, metal, cardboard, office paper, and newspaper can go in the blue bin, right? most people are familiar with the term recycling, and so they'll be able to, feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't think you would want to start a recycling program and a food waste composting program at the same time. You kind of want to ease them into it, but you might be pretty bold and say, we're rolling this out. You're going to do X, Y, and Z. Everybody needs to use this program properly and not cross-contaminate the streams. And then, you've got a successful program. But some businesses feel more comfortable rolling one out over the other. And then, they usually choose the recycling program first, unless you're a food permitted business, right? Unless you run a restaurant or you manage a hotel kitchen, or maybe you've got a hotel or a hospital cafeteria that you manage. So think about all these food permitted businesses. Recycling might not be the top waste stream. It could be the food waste in the back of the house where they're prepping all the food, but it could also be what's being scraped off the plate from post-consumer, the consumer eating that food, but having leftovers still on the plate. You'll come along and scrape it off. It goes into the trash can typically. But if you've got a composting program, then, that's something that you can capture and keep away from the landfill trash. So developing that workplace recycling program starts to build that culture of sustainability for your business, and starts to get people used to kind of changing their habits. And I think it would make it a little bit more easy to roll out eventually a food waste composting program. So you'll always want to ensure proper sorting happens. So that means that you'll want to have color-coded bins, meaning black and gray are usually your trash, your landfill trash. The blue is usually recycling, and green is usually the food waste composting. So you also want to have the proper bin liners, so the bags that go inside, as well as the signage that goes up kind of on the wall or on signposts next to these bin systems. You'll want to make sure that they are also color coded so that everybody knows what goes in which bin, and that there's either text or graphics on those signs, because in any language, an apple core is an apple core, right? So if you have graphics along with text showing what does and does not belong, you'll help reduce contamination there. So another, what is this, number 5, I would say, is to go ahead and start that composting program. If you've got a food permit, you've got an employee cafeteria, if you're a restaurant, and I would go ahead and start that up. Now, the caveat is, if you have a composting service in your area, if you don't have composting services, you're not going to be able to really compost if you have an industrial type of business like a commercial kitchen, and where you're prepping food kind of all day for thousands of people that may come in and out of your food business. So if you've got to check in your local area and do kind of a regional search for who services compost in just take my area, Central Texas composters, and how do I find them? Where are they at? Do they service my area? If so, are there multiple, so I can get several bids and I can get competitive pricing? If not, can I work out a deal with that single composter that's in the area, because I really want to do this? And about 30 to 40% of the entire waste stream in the US is food waste. And couple that with 1 in 7 Americans don't know where their next meal is going to come from. It's really important that we keep food, especially consumable food that we can legally donate, out of the landfill trash, and even out of the compost bin. If we can donate it to a nonprofit that is set up to redistribute food among the community members who are in need, then that is top tier, right? That's where really where you want that consumable food to go. If it's no longer consumable, but it's not rotten yet, you can work with local farmers and ranchers in your area to do kind of a food exchange, right? They'll use that to feed their livestock or to create compost on their own land so that they can amend the soil and put more nutrients, minerals, and vitamins back into the soil where they're growing crops. So that's another way that we're going to really tackle food waste here in the country, is to keep it out of the composting stream through legal food donations, working with farmers and ranchers, and then also putting it to the compost. And if you think about food waste, it's a rescue and recovery hierarchy. It's an inverted triangle like this. Composting is at the very bottom. All these other higher and better uses are way at the top. And those are the preferred methods, of course. We always want to feed hungry people and animals over just putting our food waste into a compost bin or even the landfill at the worst case scenario, right? So let's see, we have gone up to, I think, number 5. I think we're at number 4 now, is to really donate excess inventory or your surplus. And what I mean by that is, just rather than tossing products, you'll want to donate extra inventory you may have and surplus supplies to charities and nonprofits. And this really helps you reduce waste and really helps the community as well. You usually can do a tax write-off also if you keep track of what you were donating, when and to where, and how that nonprofit may be able to use your materials. It's a good way to get a tax write-off for your business. Same thing with legal food donations that we just talked about. The IRS allows businesses to take a tax write-off for foods that were donated in good faith and kept to proper time and temperature standards through your state's health department. And you were able to, if you're able to draft a manifest of, or keep just a simple spreadsheet of what day you donated, what kind of food it was, how much, like volume, weight wise. Maybe it was 72 loaves of bread that it would have gone, bad in the next 2 days. You want to keep a manifest of that, right? Same thing with these, other donatable items, like furniture and that type of thing. You'll be able to write that off on your taxes and to get some sort of return. I think for food, donated food, it's 15% fair market value of the foods that you donated to that responsible nonprofit who does food redistribution. I'm not sure how much the tax write-off would be for office products like your extra inventory and surplus supplies and such, but it's something that if you're really interested in that and you have excess and you do want to donate it instead of landfilling it, I would go ahead and take a look at the IRS website, or ask your accountant if you have a business accountant. Or you can just go into like any Reddit forum and you can just kind of ask that question, or maybe on TikTok or wherever you get your news from. So where are we at now? Number three is piggybacking off of that, excess, donating your excess inventory and surplus, is really choose sustainable supplies and office materials. It's really great to know that you're working for a company that cares about even little things like your office paper being made out of recycled paper, right? So if you've got the little sign at the bottom, the little stamp of approval at the bottom that says this ream of paper was made out of 75% post-consumer paper, that means that it was made by recycling paper, and it's not coming from felled trees that we just found in the Amazon rainforest, that it was actually made from paper pulp that was already forested. So that's a good way to just to start with little small things like that. Even toner and printer cartridges, getting those inks refilled rather than chucking them and buying new is another great way to start saving a little bit of money, but also demonstrating to your employees that we're taking kind of these small steps to make a big impact over time. So I I would say that, those sustainable office supplies could include not only the recycled office paper products, but non-toxic cleaners. One of the best cleaners I've ever found is a little vinegar and water. So that's non-toxic. And, items that just support zero waste in general. You have to think about the items that you are buying. Are they made from recycled material? And that's something that you can use in your green storytelling as well. And really opt for reusable supplies instead of disposable, and you want to favor products that have less packaging as well. All right, let me check for any questions over here. All right, so number two, I would say, is consider working with nonprofits to really handle your old electronics. If you're not aware, electronics are full of lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic. And these are really toxic heavy metals. And when they go to landfill, think about all the pressure that's weighing on this monitor or whatnot. And if that gets crushed, then that means that these materials are starting to seep out, and that starts to really cause a pollution chain of events in the kind of microbiome of the whole area. So it's really important to keep your electronics out of landfill. Many states have producer take back legislation, meaning the original equipment manufacturers of these products will take them back and recycle them responsibly and for free. That's usually for individual consumers like you and me. There's a lot of business take back and business recycling programs out there as well. And one thing that you can do before recycling is donating, right? If you are getting rid of all of your TV monitors and you're replacing them with new smart screens or whatnot, then you can take a look at what organizations or what local schools might be in need of those products that you are trying to get rid of and to replace them with newer items. So uh, one thing that you can do is contact your local independent school district and see, hey, do you have a need for any of this? It would be great to talk to educators or the principals of schools and to see who needs what, because we're giving away X, Y, and Z. And I believe, again, that's another donation that you can take a tax write-off on your tax documentation as well for your business. And let's see, take a look here. Any questions from the audience? All right, and I would say that the last kind of top number one tip in order to implement these kind of zero waste practices is, once you have these types of programs into place, uh, go ahead and market the hell out of it, right? One thing that we look at is, of course, doing press release and your annual corporate sustainability report that you put out to the public, but also using these programs to drive behavior change and setting the culture within your corporation as well, to help people understand that we're not just willy-nilly with our waste products around here. We source separate everything correctly, and we get rid of toxic items in a responsible way, and we repair products rather than buying new products. So you can do that through inter-employee communication from your marketing team, your communications team. They can put that out in newsletters, of course, on social media that you're hopefully your employees are following you on your own social media, and putting it out in maybe an intranet kind of back end communication system that all employees have access to. Maybe you do a zero waste event and you just drive home the point that this entire event is zero waste. We're going to be directing people on how to separate their materials at this 3-bin system or 2-bin system, so that you can recycle and compost responsibly and keep these valuable materials out of the landfill trash. So there's a lot of ways that you can market that externally and internally that will really help boost the employee morale. They feel really good about working with a company that has these kind of initiatives in place, and that you can market that as well on your website, your social media, and your annual reports to shareholders, investors, and to the public as well, who are your customers. So if you have any additional questions, if you're watching this after the live recording, go ahead and drop your questions or your comments into the chat section so that I can get back to you. Or you can just send me a personal DM on LinkedIn. That's fine too. You can follow me on all the socials, all the main socials really, and our business pages as well. I'd really love to connect with businesses that are looking to go the green route and want to get some further information on how we can help them do that for their specific site in their specific town and state, all the legal compliance factors that may fall into that as well. Help you with compliance and really help you tackle some of the waste issues that you're dealing with, as well as hard to recycle materials also in your local area, helping you find those avenues. So I'd really love to speak with you. You can go on our website at zerowastestrategies.com, and that's the number 0. You'll see it scrolling down here at the bottom. Or, you can just go to our website and pick up the phone and give me a call. 512-693-7677. That's our business line. And, you can leave a voicemail for us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But, email, chatting with me on LinkedIn as well is probably the best ways to get a hold of me and get my attention from the busy day. But, either way, I'd love to connect with you guys and, present me with your challenges so I can help you out. I'd love to bring a lot of value to people who are looking to go the green route for their business and who may, be interested in some of our services. So with that, I will leave it there. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.